Season 2, Episode 4 of 1923 is about 58 minutes long, but this felt like more than an hour and a half episode. The episode starts off with Donald Whitfield, played by Timothy Dalton, holding what you would call an investors meeting. He shows them his idea of this big resort, or making an airport, putting roads up, and it's like, that's really interesting. And seeing Whitfield have this idea 100 years earlier than trying to figure out that everyone else, even in the modern day setting of Yellowstone, had these ideas to try and take over the Dutton Ranch. He gives his spiel, they ask him questions, and he's like, I'm taking $100,000. He's like, okay. So all the investors put in their money, and Bannon turns to him and basically says, that's Dutton's land. And he's like, I'll do whatever it takes. So it's like, oh, okay. Next scene, we see Alexandra at the train station, and we see that she's getting ready to board her train. Of course, we know how the previous episode ended. Someone comes in, beats her up, takes her money, punches her, kicks her, and she's like laid out, and she's like doesn't know what's going on. Another woman enters the restroom, and all of a sudden she comes to, and she's like, what time is it? Black eye, disheveled looking, but she's running to the train that she has to catch. And she does that. She jumps on the train. That's a badass move that I've seen this character really do, and it was really, really fun to see. Then we are back at the ranch. We see Jacob and Jack Dutton, kind of putting something together, and it's for Zane, because the doctor has to drill a hole in his head to get the swelling out and that blood clot out, and the doctor kind of chloroforms him. He passes out. And then in a crazy, gnarly scene, we see the doctor drilling in his head. And all of a sudden, Zane wakes up. It like catches you off guard. It's really, really crazy. But then he sits up and it works. He can walk again. Now, mind you, it's really crazy how someone who just got operated on, who has a hole in their head, is now walking around. But that's here nor there, which is really, really fun. Then we see Elizabeth, mad at Jack still because, she wants to leave and go back to Boston. And then Jacob goes in the room, speaks with her, talks to her. And, it's a nice heart-to-heart. And it's like she talks back to Kara, she talks back to her husband. But then when Jacob comes in, she's like, okay, Jacob's understanding and everything. And then she takes the injection, puts it in her stomach after being bitten. And then she's really in pain, really, really in pain. And then the doctor comes in. Kara goes, gets a doctor. Doctor comes in, find out she's pregnant. Here, I thought we already knew she was pregnant. But that, I guess, wasn't, talked about until now. She goes, runs to Jack, says, I'm pregnant, this and that. And it's a really, really a fun, heartfelt scene. And then we see finally Spencer, who has a long, good sequence of scenes. And we see that he's walking on the side of the road of Texas. Police department comes up. It's Fort Worth. He gets in the back. We find out that it's one of the police that was in the shootout with Luca in the previous episode, who killed Luca. They find out who Spencer is. They want Spencer to deliver the goods to where it is so they can raid the place. They get there, they do that, but as they're getting there, we see a temperance movement happening where a woman in the street is covered in tar and feathers, and just being humiliated by the temperance women who are wearing black. They deliver the goods, and all of a sudden, all shootout starts happening. The cop puts the handcuffs on Spencer. Spencer shoots it out and then drives. He gets away. Really, helps the woman, the prostitute in the middle of the street who was getting humiliated, helps her out in a way. And then he makes it on a train. You think he gets away. This man cannot catch a break, ladies and gentlemen. The journey of Spencer Dutton is really, really crazy. He gets on the train, and then we see two guys and a young girl there. You gotta pay the tax, blah, 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 blah. And then, Spencer's like, well, this and that, this, and if you fall asleep, but Spencer's been in the war. But the man's not going to fall asleep. We know that. And then the next scene, we see Bannon going back home to his wife. He wants to do everything he can for his wife. asks his wife, "What do you want me to do? Are you tired of living poorly?" It's like, yes, I am. Just go do what you have to do. He's like, okay. She's like, yeah, go get that. He's like, all right, I'll get you your castle. Bannon goes to Whitfield, says everything and what's not, and Whitfield shows him a map of the land and the jurisdictions and everything. And there's one jurisdiction that he points out that's not owned by the government, it's not owned by the state or anything like that. He's like, this is where we can do some things. And then the prostitute or whoever is shacking up with Whitfield comes in. He's like, I need to show you something. Go upstairs. The other one has died of asphyxiation because the other one gets off on it, like a sexual feeling or some sort. I mean, that's a crazy thing. A lot of people do that. I don't know. That's just, hey, all right, you do that, great, good for you. So then Whitfield tells Bannon to get rid of the body. Bannon's like, okay, can I take this sheet? Whitfield's like, no. And ladies and gentlemen, we are first introduced now to the train station where, in Yellowstone, that's where they threw the bodies over and they just let them die there and get rid of the evidence. And that's really, really good. So it's like, oh, okay. So Whitfield came up with this idea, and it's like, then how do the Duttons know about it later on, so many years later? That's going to be interesting. My guess is Whitfield dies, they take him there, that's where they get rid of him. But let's see what happens. Then there's a story with Tanoa Rainwater. We see her father and the boy that she's riding with kind of to the point where they go back to Texas. They go to a ranch, it's a rodeo. Then you see wanted signs everywhere. And it's like, well, what are they going to do? That scene was too quick. It was simple. It was like, all right, well, there's no reason for it. Then we go back to Spencer. Spencer falls asleep, shoots the one guy, shoots another guy, and kind of knocks out the girl. Then he jumps off of the train. That's the end of the episode, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I did a little rant because this was a really, really good episode. We are halfway through season 2. 4 episodes left as of this review. And listen, hey, episode 7 or 8, Spencer's going to come back and it's going to be crazy. But knowing that Taylor Sheridan wrote all these episodes, you know how I feel about Taylor Sheridan. Hopefully it picks up and it's really, really good. Episode 3, very well done. Episode 4, on par with episode 3. Let's keep that trajectory going up. Let's not, go up, go halfway, flatten out and then fall. Hopefully it keeps going up, up, and up until the season 2 series finale. Very curious to see how it ends, what's going to happen, what's going to go on. And, after what happened to Alexandra, is she still pregnant? Because she did get kicked in the stomach. Or will Elizabeth lose the baby? So it's like, okay, a lot of things happening, going on quickly at once. Very good that it was focused on Spencer. Love seeing Harrison Ford in this role. I want to see this show get nominated for good acting awards. But we know it might not happen. But hey, you can only wish and hope. Very interesting to see what's going to happen in the next episode and how everything transpires and, how the Duttons are going to fight this war. I'm pretty sure after episode 5, 6, 7, and 8 will be the war. What's going to happen, and it's going to be a big twist, but we just have to wait and see to find out what that will be. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about Season 2, Episode 4 of 1923. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the pacing, the story structure? Has this been your favorite episode so far this season? Do you think it's on par with the 3rd episode? What do you think is going to happen to every single character? How do you think it will move the story forward? And I know a lot of you have been predicting that episode 7 or 8, Spencer will come in because you're reading the synopsises. Sometimes those aren't true. But when do you think Spencer will come in? How everything will end? And what will a story push forward in the Yellowstone universe and the Dutton dynasty? Let me know in the comment section about all the questions I just asked. I'm Mr. Filmstock. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next review video. And be sure you tune in next week to my Season 2, Episode 5 review of 1923.